Take a good, honest look at the way you begin your day. Before the sun has fully risen, before the emails and the noise and the world come knocking, what are you actually building in those quiet early minutes? Are you constructing a day of intention and momentum, or are you stacking up another round of chaos and compromise? I say this with all the warmth and urgency of a mentor who's seen both sides. Your morning is the architect's blueprint for your entire life. If you keep hoping for a mansion but scribble your blueprints in haste and neglect, don't be surprised when what you end up with is a shack. Crooked, fragile, and never quite what you dreamed. Most people wander through their mornings on autopilot. They wake up late, hit the snooze button, check their phones, and let the world start pouring in before they've even gathered themselves. The day races forward, and before they know it, they're reacting, apologizing, and wishing they had a second chance to start over. The winner is made in the first hour. He wakes with discipline even when he doesn't feel like it. He moves his body, feeds his mind, sets the course, and protects his energy before the world can steal it. That's not luck, and it's not a matter of personality. It's a matter of principle. I learned the hard way that every wasted morning is a vote for drift, for regret, for staying behind, while others quietly build ahead. There's a special kind of pain that comes from knowing you're meant for more, but watching yourself waste the sunrise day after day. But there's also a special kind of pride, a quiet, grounded pride that grows when you show up for your life before anyone else even knows you're awake. The world will try to convince you that what you do in the shadows doesn't matter, that only what's public counts. Don't believe it. Winners are made in the dark hours, when no one is clapping, when it's just you and your choices. Philosophically, I believe the morning is where the real work happens. What you do before breakfast is who you are becoming. It's not about grand gestures or heroic effort. It's about stacking a few simple disciplines, deliberately, quietly, over and over. If you find yourself looking back at too many wasted mornings, too many missed opportunities, don't run from that feeling. Let it be your turning point. Let it be the signal that you're ready to become the architect of your own destiny. So ask yourself, what am I really building in the first hour? Am I designing a blueprint worth following, or just hoping something better will fall into place? Because hope is not a strategy, and neither is drift. It's time to talk about the law that separates the winners from the wishers, the law that will build or break your future before breakfast is even served. Let's lay the foundation together and see what happens when you stop wasting mornings and start building the life you were meant for. There's a law I discovered, not just from reading books, but from living through seasons of drift and breakthrough. I call it the law of morning foundations. Here's what it means. Your morning routine becomes your destiny. The pattern you lay down before the world even gets started is the pattern that shapes your hours, your months, and, believe it or not, your whole life. The world will tell you to be casual about your mornings. That's how most people live, and it's why most people stay right where they are. But winners, the men and women you quietly admire, they build their foundations in the early light every single day. Let's make it practical. If you spend your mornings drifting, checking your phone, scrolling headlines, stumbling through the first hour on autopilot, don't be surprised when the rest of your day follows suit. Drifted mornings lead to drifted weeks, then drifted years, and one day you look up and wonder where all the time went. But when you design your morning, when you commit to a handful of small, intentional disciplines, those disciplines begin to multiply. One focused hour stacks upon another until you're not just surviving the day, you're directing it. That's when the compounding effect kicks in. Small choices at sunrise made over and over build habits. Habits build character. And character builds a life that's hard to shake, no matter what storms come your way. Contrast that with the man who leaves his mornings to chance. He's always playing catch-up, always wondering why nothing changes, always hoping next week will be different. But different never arrives, because he never built a foundation strong enough to handle it. The law of morning foundations isn't about perfection. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. with a grin on your face every day. It's about respecting the simple truth. What you do in the first hour is the seed you sow, and your day is the harvest you reap. Design the foundation, and you decide your results. Let's go deeper. Why do most people waste their mornings? It's not for lack of information. We all know we could use our time better. But there are a few big myths, excuses really, that keep most from ever pouring the concrete on a strong foundation. Let's call them out, expose them for what they are, and clear the way for you to become the builder you were always meant to be. The myths have to go before the morning can be rebuilt. Let's dig into them now. Let's clear the path and talk honestly about why so many men and women never get the momentum they crave, why they keep tripping over the same routines year after year. Most people don't waste their mornings because they're lazy or lack ambition. They waste them because they believe a handful of clever myths, comfortable stories that excuse mediocrity and protect the old habits that keep them stuck. The first myth is this: I'm just not a morning person. I've heard it from business leaders, students, fathers, mothers, from all walks of life. The truth? Nobody comes into this world with a genetic advantage for discipline at sunrise. Morning discipline is built, not born. It's forged through repetition, not biology. I was not a morning person by nature. I became one by necessity, by deciding that if I wanted a different outcome, I had to install different routines, one sunrise at a time. Here's another myth. I'll do it later when the pressure's on. But here's what I've learned. Pressure doesn't create winners. Discipline does. If you leave your most important work, your thinking, your planning, your self-care for the scraps at the end of the day, you'll always be playing catch-up. Winners don't leave the foundation of their house for after the rain. They build it first, so everything else stands secure. And perhaps the most popular myth, mornings are for comfort. I deserve a slow start. There's nothing wrong with rest. But rest is earned, not owed. The comfort you give yourself at sunrise will often cost you discomfort by sunset. Winners have learned that the real comfort comes from the pride of having honored their word, of starting strong, and of carrying that strength through every challenge the day throws their way. You see, these myths aren't just bad advice. They're thieves. They steal your mornings, and then your afternoons, and then your months and years. They keep you safe, yes. But safe is the slowest form of stuck. You can't build momentum in the mud of old stories. If you want to break out, you need a new truth. Winners are not special. They're simply consistent. They build their edge in the hours nobody else wants to claim. That's what makes them rare. And that's what can make you rare, too. So if you've been carrying any of these myths, now is the time to let them go. You have permission to start over. You don't need to wait for January, for motivation, or for a life crisis. Your fresh start is waiting for you tomorrow morning. All you need is a new reason, a new system, and the willingness to see what happens when you finally take charge of your first hour. Now let me show you how I learned this lesson myself. The morning that changed my trajectory, the small choices that set the foundation for everything that followed. I wasn't born with discipline. I built it when I got tired of my own excuses. Here's what happened when I decided to stop wasting mornings, and what can happen for you, too. Let me tell you about the turning point in my own journey, the morning that changed my trajectory, not just for a day, but for a lifetime. There was a season where I was the king of wasted mornings. I'd stay up too late, hit the alarm 2, 3, sometimes 4 times, and stumble into my day chasing urgency, never clarity. By lunch, I was already behind, and by evening, I was filled with regret. Regret for promises I broke to myself. Regret for energy I'd never get back. Regret for another morning where I handed the advantage to someone else. One day, after a string of disappointing weeks, I finally sat myself down and asked a hard question. If I keep living these mornings, what will the next 5 years look like? That thought shook me. I knew I was meant for more, but I kept selling my mornings for pennies. So I made a simple decision. The next morning, I would do 3 things before breakfast. I would read 1 page of wisdom, I would move my body for 10 minutes, and I would write down the single most important action for the day. No negotiation, no fanfare, just a private promise. That first morning was uncomfortable. My mind wanted the old comfort, but I kept my promise. I finished my routine before the sun was high, and suddenly I felt a pride I hadn't felt in years. The rest of the day moved differently. I carried a quiet confidence into every conversation, made better decisions, and finished my work with more focus. I was no longer just hoping for a good day. I was building it brick by brick before breakfast. As days turned into weeks, the results multiplied. My energy was up, my goals became clearer, and opportunities started to appear, not because the world changed, but because I changed how I showed up for my own life. That one morning, and the discipline to repeat it, became the bedrock for everything else. It taught me that every winner I admired didn't get there by accident or by some grand gesture. They got there by showing up for themselves when no one else was watching, by honoring the quiet early hours that most people waste. That's why I say don't waste your mornings. That's where winners are made. Your whole future can pivot on the decision to take back the first hour, to set a standard nobody else will see but everyone else will eventually feel. Now, let's get practical. Let's break down exactly what winners do with their mornings, the 4 disciplines you can start tomorrow and repeat for a lifetime. This is where the blueprint shifts from theory to transformation. Let's build it together. If you're tired of waking up behind, if you're done with wasted mornings and ready for a winning life, here's your code. Winners don't complicate their mornings. They commit to a small set of disciplines and protect them like gold. Here are the 4 morning disciplines I've seen change the lives of those who rise above the crowd, and they can change yours too. 1. Prepare. Set the stage the night before. The winner's morning doesn't start with the alarm. It starts the night before. Think of the best builders you know. They never show up without blueprints. You must prepare your clothes, your tools, your reading, your priorities before your head hits the pillow. Review the next day, lay out what you need, decide what matters. The more decisions you make at night, the fewer you'll have to fight through when you're groggy. Preparation removes friction. It gives your morning a running start. Instead of waking up to chaos, you wake up to clarity. A day that's already half built before you even stand up. 2. Protect. Guard the first hour like a fortress. Your first hour is sacred. Treat it like a fortress. No phone, no emails, no social media, no noise from the outside world. Winners use the first moments to feed their mind, not to open themselves to the distractions and anxieties of others. This is when you read a page of wisdom, review your goals, meditate, or reflect quietly. If you protect the gate to your mind, you decide what enters and what's kept out. The average person leaves their door wide open and lets the world come storming in. Winners know the first hour is where direction is set and momentum is born. 3. Prime, move the body, wake the mind. Energy is a discipline, not an accident. The body is the ignition switch for the mind. Every morning, move, stretch, walk, breathe, do a short workout. Whatever wakes you up and shakes you out of yesterday's fog. Think of it as priming the pump. When you activate your body, you turn on your mind, your will, your spirit. Winners don't wait for energy to show up. They create it on purpose. A moving body leads to a moving mind, and a mind in motion builds days full of achievement. 4th plan, write 3 intentions for the day. You are the architect of your own day. Winners don't let chance or other people's priorities set their agenda. Before breakfast, write down 3 clear intentions. Your must-do actions that move you forward. Don't settle for vague wishes. Make them concrete. Call that client. Draft that proposal. Read 10 pages. Have that conversation. By setting 3 priorities, you take command of your time. The world will try to pull you in 100 directions, but you'll have your blueprint. Every intention you complete is a brick laid in the life you're building, one that will stand long after the day's storms have passed. When you practice these 4 disciplines, preparing, protecting, priming, and planning, you lay a foundation winners build on. They aren't complicated, but they are rare. Most will listen, nod, and drift back to comfort. But if you commit to these for 30 days, you'll become the builder you were meant to be, while everyone else is still hitting snooze. In the next section, I'll lay out your 30-day morning builder challenge, the commitment that turns good intentions into a life that stands out. Let's make your foundation unbreakable. Let's make this real. Starting tomorrow, commit to your own 30-day morning builder challenge. For 30 mornings, practice the 4 disciplines. Prepare the night before, protect your first hour, prime your body, and plan your intentions before breakfast. Don't just do them once or twice. Do them until they become your new baseline, your new reputation with yourself. Print them out, write them in your journal, or put them on your wall where you can't miss them. Every morning before the world has a chance to demand your attention, show up for yourself. Track your mornings. It doesn't have to be complicated. A simple check mark, a short journal entry, a few words about how you felt. Did you wake up prepared? Did you guard your mind from outside noise? Did you move your body and write your intentions? Celebrate the days you win, and if you fall short, reflect and recommit. Every time you return to the discipline, you strengthen your foundation. That's the secret. Progress is persistence, not perfection. Each week, set aside 10 minutes to review. What did you build before breakfast? How did it change your day? Did you notice a new level of calm, energy, or focus? Were you more present with your family, more creative in your work, more resilient when things went sideways? These small observations are the clues that you're on the path to mastery. Mornings are the measure of your self-respect. Show me how you start, and I'll show you where you're going. If you miss a day, don't let it unravel your commitment. Every builder faces setbacks. The house isn't built in one perfect pour. It's built brick by brick, foundation laid and relaid until it's strong enough to last. Winners are forged in the repeat, not in the once-off. You're not just building better mornings, you're building a new identity, one that can't be stolen or shaken by the world outside. So here's your challenge. Don't waste another sunrise. Take these 30 days, give them everything you've got, and see who you become before breakfast. The world is full of people waiting for a miracle. You can be the man or woman who creates one, quietly, with discipline, every single morning. Let's close with the final charge, the truth that every winner you admire started where you are, with the same sunrise and the same chance to begin again. Let's finish strong. Let me leave you with the truth I've learned from decades of building, teaching, and watching lives transform. You can't win the race if you never tie your shoes. You can't expect the world to reward you for results you never built. The man who wins, the woman who rises above, shows up before the world wakes, ties his shoes, lays the bricks, and pours the foundation in the dark, quiet hours when nobody is watching. By the time the rest of the world is scrambling, you've already claimed your advantage. You don't have to wait for inspiration. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to commit to a new code, one that puts your priorities before distractions, your discipline before comfort, and your actions before applause. That's where the world starts to notice. That's where the winners are made. Every sunrise is a blank canvas, a new shot at setting the direction of your entire life. Don't waste another one. Drop your commitment in the comments. I build my life before breakfast. Let the world see you draw the line. Let yourself see it. Because the real reward isn't just in the success that comes, but in the man or woman you become along the way. You'll stand taller, move with more certainty, and discover you have more to give because you gave your best to the quietest hours. The world follows the builders. The world rewards the man who shows up early for his own life. Make that decision starting tomorrow. Don't waste another sunrise. Don't wait for permission. Go build the life you want before the world even knows you're awake. And if you stick to it, soon you'll look back and realize you became the builder the world now follows, one morning at a time.